All right, so post-game Buffalo video. A lot of shit, man. We'll go over some stuff in this game that happened yesterday. This was the second meeting between Buffalo and the Jets. It was in Buffalo. But a lot of big news, okay? A lot of big news that has happened since that game and in that game, all right? Obviously, Zach Wilson was benched in that game. And as of today, which is Monday, all right, it is now official. Zach Wilson is not starting against Miami. All right, so that is huge. That is very big. All right, that's very big for a few reasons. Now, why is that big news? Why is it huge that he is not starting against Miami? Okay, it's big because it tells me that they have finally realized that it is time to move on from this guy. There is no way you can now keep this guy on the team after benching him again, okay? Pulling him out of the season again. There's no way that this team can possibly, there's no way that they can possibly, I can't fathom this organization thinking that they're still going to keep this guy and try to make him, whatever. All right, that shit's over. The Zach experiment is over. All right, and his benching now, to me, confirms it. Now you have to get rid of him. You have to trade him. Get him off the team. All right, he's got to get off the team. So it's a lot, man. It's like I said, I just did a video on it. And it's this team had a big problem, with where they couldn't swallow their mistake when they drafted this guy number 2, and they just felt like because they drafted him number 2, they felt like they had to, make it work. But guess what? It did not work. So now you have to move on. You got to trade him. Get him off the team and just start with a clean slate looking for your next franchise quarterback, which is what this fucking team, it feels like, has been doing forever, man. Maybe something happens, man, and they just get lucky like the Niners with Purdy or, with something, man. I mean, something. I don't know. I don't know what the answer is, but they're going to still stick with Rodgers. Now, and we're going to talk about the Buffalo game in a second. But, again, big news. Zach getting benched now, to me, just signals the end of his career. So, to me, his career is over as a Jet. All right? Now, other problems with this team at this point, okay? Like I said, benching him is actually a good thing. To me, it just means they're going to move on from this guy. They have to. Again, they cannot keep, after benching him again, you cannot keep him on the team anymore. And you can't be like, well, he's going to be good next year, or he's going to, he'll come back in a couple of weeks. No, he is fucking done, and that is it. All right, so now move on, swallow your fucking mistake already with him and trade him and get him off the team. All right, so now, all right, let's talk about what else is going on here. All right, so all kinds of problems with this offense for fucking the entire season, basically, right? Maybe Zach has been the problem the whole time. All right, so now what do? There was a question in my head recently. Maybe it's Hackett. Listen, Hackett is staying. That's another issue that this team has. You can't get rid of fucking Hackett because he was brought in for Rodgers, all right? And they're going to follow through with the Rodgers thing no matter what, all right? Personally, who the fuck knows or cares at this point? What is going to go on with Aaron Rodgers? I mean, seriously, who gives a fucking shit at this point? The guy's only going to be here for another year or two anyway, all right? And he's coming back from a major injury. And, you know, to me, it's hard pressed that you think this guy is going to walk in, he's going to walk onto the field at fucking 40, 41 years old, all right, with Hackett, and now they're gonna bring Devontae Adams here for him. Like, listen, he didn't last 4 fucking plays in the beginning of this season because they had no line to protect him, and when he tried to scramble, he ripped his Achilles, all right? He is not 20 years old anymore, all right? Listen, if he comes and plays next year and he wins a bowl, I'll be fucking psyched. I mean, who wouldn't? But I think it's long. It's like a long shot, man. I mean, it really is. Think about it. Like, what the fuck is this guy going to do for this team? It would be amazing if he did do something. Listen, it would be amazing if he did do something like that, you know. And I'm not saying it's out of the realm. Okay, because he is a Hall of Fame quarterback, all right? But come on, man, let's get real here, all right? Even if he comes in and he plays great for 2 years, playoffs, possible Super Bowl, those are your best case scenarios, all right? But if that's only going to last 2 years, we still need a franchise quarterback now to put into place under him, all right? So that's where this team is at. And I say fucking tank the season at this point and get somebody in the draft this year coming up. But it is what it is. So now, moving forward even more, what else is the problem going on with this team now? You know, we're going to see, because they're going to be going into Miami now with Boyle starting, all right? So we'll see now how much Zach was the problem, all right? The offensive line is been the problem big time, but at least you saw with Boyle, quick releases, right? Ran away, man. Completed passes. Garrett Wilson finally gets a reception when Boyle comes in, you know, quick. So we'll see. He reminds me of Mike White a little bit, that pocket type of passer. And you know I loved White. They should have kept White. And again, going back to the beginning of the season, man, when they were doing the whole Rodgers thing and they wanted to, why didn't they just keep White and get rid of Wilson? Because they couldn't swallow their mistake, and they should have kept White. But to me, Boyle he's like a Mike White mold type of quarterback. He reminds me of White a little bit. So let's see what Boyle can do with this team. If you start to see production with this offense now, with Boyle, then you absolutely know, especially with this line, you absolutely know that Zach Wilson was the problem. And it certainly is starting to feel like he really was, even with this offensive line. Now, and we'll see. You know, we're going to see it in the Miami game very, very soon. Okay? Now, let's start getting more into it with this post-game video, all right? Mekhi Becton gets hurt fucking again. He is another mistake they have to swallow, and you got to get rid of this guy. You can't keep this guy on the team. Trade him. Make it a package deal. Trade Becton and Zach Wilson together. Fucking get these guys off the team. Zach, I think, is gone. He has to be gone now at this point. He has to be. And Becton, all right, you got to get rid of this guy. You can't keep depending on this dude as a solid piece of your line when this guy can't go 1, 2, or 3 fucking games without getting hurt. He's too big, and that's it. You get rid of Becton. I've been saying it for so many in so many of these videos. I have said this about Becton. You got to get rid of him, because by keeping him, you're using up a spot that you should be trying to plug with somebody more stable that can stay long term and that will be more durable than Becton. So get Becton off the team. All right, get him off the team. Next year's draft should just be fucking offensive line and quarterback prospect. I swear to God, that's all they should fucking draft next year. Draft 3, 4 fucking quarterbacks, draft fucking 5 linemen, and that's it. Call it a day. 3 quarterbacks. Draft 3 quarterbacks next year. Draft 5 or 6 offensive linemen. That's it. There's your draft next year. All right? So, I don't give it. They're talking about, I heard with Becton. I heard this with this thing today with Becton that, all right, the MRI is showing that it might not be as bad as they think. Listen, I don't give a shit. It's just the fact that he's getting an MRI today it tells you everything you need to know about this guy. Get him off the fucking team. All right? And even when he's on the field, from what I've seen this year, he is not agile enough to block these mammoth pass rushes that are now in the league. All right? He's too big and he's too slow. All right? The only thing that I could see him being good at, if he was able to stay on the field, is this. Okay? Run behind him, because he's a mountain. Other than that, I don't know what the fuck you're going to do with this guy. You know, they move him to right. They said right wasn't good for him because he was playing out of position, and that's why he got hurt. They move him to left. That's supposed to be his position. He still gets fucking hurt. All right? He's not blocking anybody. What game was it where I just talked about this with him? He was getting beat all fucking game. Let me just think. I don't know, man. It's in one of my more recent videos where he just kept getting beat all game. I just can't think of it off the top of my head, but I just made the video recently. It's within the last couple of weeks. But he was just getting beat all fucking game. So, because he's too slow. So that's enough on Becton. I don't want to waste this fucking video on this guy. I've wasted enough video on Becton, all right? So, what else? All right, so let's actually talk about the Buffalo game yesterday, all right? What a way that game started, right? With that, with the kickoff. Man, Buffalo did not forget week 1 with that return touchdown to win the game, because they came out and they flattened Gibson, man, and they caused the turnover. I mean, they were pissed off still from week 1 with the way they opened up this game on that return. So that was, to me, that was a loud message right off the bat with this game. Coming down the field and just, fucking blasting Gibson like I have never seen anybody get blasted on a fucking kickoff return. So much so that he fucking lost the ball. And Buffalo, literally, the Jets offense did not even get on the field, man. And Buffalo had a 3-0 lead already, all right? So that was pretty interesting. Okay, and then the rest of this game was just more of like what we've been seeing, man. No offense, I don't think that they converted a 3rd down in this whole fucking game. I mean, think about that. And I don't think Wilson didn't complete to anybody, man, Garrett Wilson, all right? So, again, just looking at some notes here, give me a second, but all I saw in this game was this sack after sack after sack. Now, again, was it Wilson or the offensive line? With the benching, you're starting to feel like Wilson really was the problem here. And we're going to find out, like I said, going into Miami. So, and this is interesting, too. I have this in my notes. And this was before Wilson got benched. I think Zach is done. Like, he's done mentally. I'm writing this in my notes, like he needs a fresh start, like fresh start, meaning like trade him and put him on another team. I wrote that before he got benched, okay? So it was like I was starting to sense the situation. And then it's just, what was it? Just 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out, man. Sack, sack, sack. That's all this fucking game was. And listen, it led to the inevitable. They benched him, and they should have benched him. And like I said, at least it feels like we're going in the right direction now at quarterback. They had the one. I'll give the Jets credit here. They had the one really cool drive right before the half, I think it was, where they did the fake punt. All right. That took a lot of balls because I think they were like on their own 20 when they did it. So give Salah some credit for having some balls with that call. And then on that drive, I think they had another fourth down conversion. They went for it on fourth again because they were determined to score on that drive. And listen, that was a good drive, but you know, how much of that was offense as much as it was just having some balls and fucking doing a trick play. But on that drive, this popped out at me. Breece Hall. He's interesting to me because, you know, they always say he's got this lightning speed, but when you see him run, he don't look like he's running fast, but he is running fast. I think it's because he's got these really long strides. Like he runs almost like a deer or something. It's weird. But obviously he does have some fucking speed because I remember in one of the games this year where, again, he don't look like he's running fast, but he just left the defenders in the dust, and they looked like they were motoring trying to get him. But I think he's just got these big, long strides. But that's not what I was about to talk about here with Hall. It was on this drive where for the first time, and I've seen this before with him, but not like this, man. Like, he is a bruising back, man. Like, when he lowers his shoulder and hits defenders, man, like, he fucking mauls them. Like, look at what he did on that one play. He fucking knocked two guys down. One of them fucking left in an ambulance, man. So that was from the Hall hit. So when him running the back, like, and you heard that hit when he hit that fucking dude, man. Like, he is a bruising back. Bruising. So I was loving. I mean, I hope the guy's all right that fucking went to the hospital. But I love that about Hall, man. I mean, that really popped out in this game to me, man. Just how bruising of a back he is. So I fucking love that. So what else? And I even liked the 2-point conversion that they went for the 2-point conversion on that drive. All right, so they had a lot of balls on that drive. That drive was like the highlight of the fucking game, basically, for the Jets. Aside from benching Wilson and putting Boyle in, which is, you know, they should have did that at halftime. So they might have had a shot in this fucking game if they would have did that at halftime. So anyway, what else? Okay, Gardner, all right? What the fuck was up with Gardner in this game? You know, Gardner, Gardner is, I like Gardner's talent, all right? I like that Gardner, he doesn't have this big mouth, or, you know, he doesn't have like a fucking Jamal Adams mouth, which was the worst mouth I've ever seen, ever, on a fucking player on my team. I mean, I couldn't stand that fucking guy, and I was so glad when they got rid of him. But, you know, Gardner doesn't have that type of a mouth. He kind of pretty much says the right things, but there's something about him that I don't know what it is, man, that I've been like sensing lately when I hear him talk and shit. But what was up anyway? What was up with his game yesterday, man? I mean, what was up with him fucking power slamming that guy? And then he, you know, not for nothing, but it looks like he got beat. It looked like he got beat on that touchdown, that 80-yard touchdown that the Bills got. I believe Gardner got burnt on that. But he just had and there was another play, I think, with him maybe, that I think there was another play with him in the game too that I'm not thinking of it. Maybe it was a bad penalty. But he had a fucked up game. So what's up with him? What's up? What's going on in his brain? You know, is the losing affecting these guys? And that brings me to Garrett Wilson, who, you know, is my guy. It's starting to concern me. You look at Garrett Wilson in these post-game interviews now, man, and he looks discouraged. And that's starting to worry me, all right? I don't want Garrett Wilson going down the tubes mentally. You know, mate, that's why you got to switch it up at quarterback now. So they did the right thing. There's no doubt that this team did the right thing, benching Wilson in this game. But, you know, it's starting to concern me. You know, Wilson looks dejected, man, and just down and out and discouraged in these post-game interviews. He looks like he's disgusted. You know, as these guys should be. I mean, they have no, especially like Garrett Wilson, who is a offensive playmaking machine, probably the most talented, if not one of the most talented receivers in the league, okay? And he's not even getting the ball thrown at him. So, or he's just, you know, listen, that was Zach's era, and Zach's era is done. It should be done, okay? And so now, hopefully, you know, with Boyle coming in, you know, Garrett's spirits get lifted as well as the team's. You know, and I was going to mention that in the last week's videos. I forgot to mention it, but I was getting concerned about, you know, Garrett Wilson's mentality. So, you know, I think the quarterback switch is a really good thing, and hopefully that lifts some spirits. What else? This video is getting a little long, but it is a post-game video. All right, another nice flash of McDonald, all right? Little by little, I've been saying, where is this guy? He had some nice plays in this game. He had one very nice play. I believe I do have some footage of it. Hopefully that is showing on the screen right now. And then, all right, so listen, going back to Zach, all right? You know, two funny things with him in this game. When he ran out of bounds and he hit Salah, it's almost like this game had like there were like prophetic things going on in this game. You know, he runs into Salah, knocks Salah down. You know, he falls going out onto the field. I don't know if you caught that. He fell, you know, going out onto the field. And I think that sums this guy's career up as a Jet, man. That shot right there of him just falling down, his career has fallen. So, you know, like I said, it is what it is, man. Again, sack after sack after sack. These are just notes I'm reading. You know, we already covered Gardner. Buffalo had a new offensive coordinator, and they looked pretty good. And then it gets up to my notes, get up to where they bench Zach, which was, you know, I didn't think they were going to do it, but they did it. And then, you know, Boyle comes in and, you know, right away, I have it in my notes. You see the difference immediately. Quick release, pocket presence, awareness, quick awareness. You know, going back to Garrett Wilson, he had another fumble. Again, that's only going to make him better. I'm not concerned about that at all. I think his spirit has to be lifted. And I think the quarterback switch will do that. And again, you know, Boyle comes in and all of a sudden Garrett Wilson has 2 receptions right off the bat. So Zach Wilson was the problem. There's just no doubt. You know, you saw the difference when Mike White came in and played, that the offense looked different. Even when Flacco played, okay? Even though Flacco was like a dinosaur in there. All you got to do is just look at the game Garrett Wilson had with Joe Flacco in that Browns stunner game, all right, last year when they stunned the Browns with that miraculous win, All right, just look at the game Garrett Wilson had in that game with Flacco throwing to him. Why? Because Flacco is a traditional pocket passer, tall, like all these guys. They're like, the Mike White mold, I like to say. And those are the type of quarterbacks that seem to get Garrett Wilson the ball. So, listen, and in my notes right here, Zach era is over. It's over. It better be over, man. You can't go back to him now. You cannot go back to him. I hope they fucking realize that. I wrote it. Will Boyle start against Miami? And we know the answer now. He is starting against Miami. So that makes the Miami game very interesting, and we will do the Miami video shortly, and that will come out, back to back on top of this video. And like I said, give Zach some credit from just a life standpoint. I think he matured. He was humbled. He learned that, you can't fucking act the way he acted last year. And he did say all the right things this year. Even last night, he said all the right things. He said it himself, man. You're not being productive. You're not scoring. Things have to happen. Things have to change. He handled himself. He's been handling himself, in front of the microphone, I want to say very well this year. So give him some credit for growing up a little bit and maturing. And when he does get traded and he goes to another team, good luck to him. Listen, you like I said, I don't fucking hate the guy. I just he's done as a Jet. He's been done as a Jet. It's time to move on. Another Jet quarterback getting thrown out into the recycling bin to fucking land on another team and be a project, or another high draft QB. Donald was drafted number 3. Zach was drafted number 2. Within, what, a 3-year period? So, and they're both done. On their way to being, career backups, basically. I don't see the Geno Smith thing happening to Zach Wilson. Maybe to Donald, but not Zach Wilson. I really think Zach is just done, and it's because of his style of play. Unless he learns how to read the field and read defenses, and that's his issue. So, listen, good luck. Good luck to the team that gets him trying to, mold his game. Because I think you got a job ahead of you, because, like I said, he's a schoolyard rollout scrambling quarterback that cannot read defenses or read the field. So that's why it's enough is enough. You gotta ship him out at this point. You got to get him out of here now. I think get him out now. Even if you only get like a 6th rounder for him, you shouldn't. At least a 6th rounder for him. But that's how bad he has fallen in this league. Like I'm saying, they'd be lucky if they got a 6th rounder for him. Maybe you get a 5th. I don't know. I mean, he was a number 2 overall pick. But get something for him and get him off the team, because now he is only a distraction. So get him off the team. And that's pretty much it, man. So, looking at my notes, that's pretty much it for this post game. There was a lot to this post game because of the QB situation. So, listen, it is what it is. I think they're moving in the right direction now. And listen, it's so fitting that every Jet season seems to be like this. It's like when the season starts to tank, something else happens that makes at least the game still interesting to watch. When it feels like the season is now done, makes the Miami game interesting, because we'll have Boyle as quarterback, and it'll be interesting to see how the offense functions now without Zach Wilson. So, all right, man, this video is long enough. I still have to make the Miami video, so let me get to that. And like I said, a lot of shit with this post game, but you know, all in all, in the big picture, I think it's moving in the right direction. So there you have it, man. Jets Buffalo post game video. All right, look for the Miami video. That'll be coming out soon. Oh, and by the way, a very happy Thanksgiving to everybody. All right.